People in one North Fort Myers neighborhood say a debris pile has become a major safety hazard, especially when driving. They tell us, and we've seen this from our reporting, that the pile is blocking the view on one busy stretch of road in North Fort Myers. Now, people are trying to get rid of the pile, but they say it's a complicated process, one that Lee County commissioners have decided to help out by voting to start removing debris from commercial properties. But there are a lot of stipulations with this. We have some of those details, fox4now.com. No time frame for a building permit as homeowners on Fort Myers Beach wonder how long it's going to take before they can start construction and other rebuilding. It's not a sure thing for all on Fort Myers Beach, but this town's website says the anticipated time frame to get a building permit between the reviewing and the processing is about 15 business days, so 3 weeks, but it's not the same for everyone. As we have more details, again, connect with fox4now.com. And also 1 week after Governor Ron DeSantis called for a grand jury to investigate COVID-19 vaccines, Fox 4 Investigates has confirmed the state Supreme Court is considering the governor's request. State law allows the governor to petition for a grand jury to investigate crimes or wrongdoings, but what does Governor DeSantis want reviewed? Fox 4 Investigates takes a look at that. fox4now.com.
And turning to our weather now across southwest Florida, we will be dealing with light to moderate rain showers through the rest of this evening into the overnight, but we will gradually see those showers taper off. So by tomorrow morning, we'll start things off. Could see a passing rain shower tomorrow. I have those rain chances for your Wednesday at just 20%. We'll start off in the lower 60s. Afternoon highs will climb towards 78 degrees. Honestly, your Wednesday not shaping up too badly at all to get outside and enjoy. Partly cloudy skies expected. And then for your Thursday, we'll have a few showers and storms in the afternoon, followed by more isolated showers and storms with a powerful cold front on Friday. And it's behind that front that we will see those temperatures plummet. Get ready for a rather cold Christmas Eve and Christmas Day with morning lows in the 30s and highs only in the mid-50s.
For some people living at this North Fort Myers mobile home park, they say driving onto this busy road can be challenging. Add in this hurricane debris pile that has everything, including the kitchen sink, and
there's been 4 car accidents on the corner of Hart and Zoysia, and so they can't see to turn left.
So to get a better idea about what Lori was telling me about, I wanted to get perspective from the driver's seat. I have my photojournalist Karen outside of our parked car, and when I look towards the road, it is hard for me to see over the debris pile. And it's something one driver who lives here tells me has almost caused him to get in an accident.
Quite a few times where I pulled out and almost got rammed, smashed into because you can't see other cars coming.
A process Lee County commissioners have decided to help out with by voting to start removing debris from commercial properties.
So what we're suggesting is, well, let's just go get all of it and we will sort it out on the back end. And we do anticipate getting reimbursed for most of that, but the solid waste fund probably is going to have to bear some of the cost.
Glenn Salyer, the assistant Lee County manager, says areas like Lori's, who are not considered by the state to have received major hurricane damage, is why state funding was not given out right away. And the problem for Lori is she says her debris pile is not close enough to the road to be picked up.
Apparently it's got to be in closer to the road within 10 feet of the easement.
But she says she's going to hire a tractor to hopefully
move the debris about 20 feet towards the road so they can get it in there.
A move that Lori says will improve her mobile home park, and she hopes will allow for FEMA trailers to be brought in and replace the ones damaged by Ian. Reporting from North Fort Myers, Colton Chavez, Fox 4.
We submitted a remodel permit about 3 weeks ago, I think.
A permit?
We had a few feet of water inside.
To rebuild Beverly Milligan and Roland Wyman's Fort Myers Beach home. It's behind Beach Baptist Church, about the middle of Estero Island.
Went online and made sure that I got all the paperwork together that they really needed, that they were looking for.
A process they found to be fast and simple, even when they needed to submit more paperwork a week ago for a permit.
I don't know how long it'll take, but I don't think it'll take too long.
Other homeowners can't say the same. Many didn't want to go on camera, telling me that they're afraid of retaliation, but they also told me they're frustrated with the town between the permit delays and rejections.
I mean, I imagine there's got to be hundreds or thousands.
A number and other questions I tried to get answered from the town of Fort Myers Beach spokesperson, who told me the permit employees are swamped and they're short-staffed. I went to the temporary city hall and reached out again, but was told my request would not be fulfilled today.
We've all got just so much on our plate that everything is taking more time than we hope.
Yeah.
Hope for a permit and hope to rebuild on Fort Myers Beach.
I believe when I submit those, then my permit would be complete.
Now, according to the town's website, the anticipated time frame to get a permit between processing and reviewing is about 15 business days. Again, we couldn't get our questions answered from the town, but we will keep pushing until we get those for you. Reporting on Fort Myers Beach, Caitlin Knapp, Fox 4.
In a surprise move, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky will visit Washington, D.C. on Wednesday. The tentative plan could change due to security concerns. But if the visit happens, it will be Zelensky's first foreign trip since Ukraine was invaded by Russia back in February. The U.S. has provided military and monetary support during the war, most recently by agreeing to send Ukraine the Patriot missile defense system. Republicans signaled Tuesday that they will not block a budget for next year. The $1.7 trillion budget must pass by Friday to avoid a government shutdown. Earlier in the negotiation process, some GOP leaders suggested delaying things until they took control of the House in January. Tuesday, leaders sent a different message, saying they plan to pass this year's budget and will try to reduce spending next year. A grim milestone in the fight against fentanyl. The DEA says it seized almost 400 million lethal doses of the drug in 2022. That's twice as much as last year and is enough to kill every person living in the U.S. It may only be the tip of the iceberg, though. Analysts believe the U.S. only catches 5 to 10% of fentanyl coming across the southern border.
The most important thing you need to know about the January 6th investigation right now is this select committee in the House of Representatives never had the power to actually charge or actually indict former President Donald Trump. That was always the purview of the Department of Justice, and specifically the special counsel that has been charged with investigating the former president at this point in time. And I want to share with you a name on screen real quickly that's important to remember over the course of the next several weeks and months. Jack Smith. He is leading this special counsel investigating not just the January 6th actions of former President Trump, but also those classified documents down at Mar-a-Lago. Mr. Smith is a career prosecutor, most recently prosecuted war crimes in Europe, previously led the Public Integrity Unit at the Department of Justice. He's familiar with high-profile political investigations. In speaking with federal prosecutors, former federal prosecutors, they believe we may be months away from an actual decision regarding any charge or indictment, as opposed to several weeks. The most important takeaway from the work of this January 6th Select Committee: the evidence collected, the interviews conducted by this committee. That's what the January 6th investigation over at the Department of Justice and the special counsel is certainly looking for in the final report, which is out tomorrow, as opposed to any grandiose speech from a member of Congress. We'll be continuing to follow this story very closely, as it certainly impacts the political future of former President Donald Trump. In Washington, I'm Joe St. George reporting.
By now, you're probably familiar with what Narcan is and how it can save lives as we discover more about fentanyl. One of the things not often talked about is how it's so difficult to treat. So we wanted to come to a medical detox facility to see why that's the case and what's being done about it. Is it difficult to talk about this subject?
No. You've likely heard stories similar to Sean Kavanaugh's, stories of pain, addiction, and how they both almost led to death.
There was one time after I started using intravenous heroin that I did come across the fentanyl that came over the border, the powdered form. And I was scared, and I chose to smoke it rather than use it intravenous, and I OD'd on it. And if somebody didn't find me within probably 15 minutes, I would have died.
Sean was in his mid-20s, went to rehab, and quickly fell out like he had so many times before, because fentanyl is proving to become harder to quit than other opioids. Doctors are calling it precipitated withdrawal, or withdrawal brought on by the very drugs meant to ease them. Right now, opioid addiction is treated by two main drugs, buprenorphine and methadone. They are both known as partial agonists, or drugs that bind to the same receptors as the opioid. Think of them as placeholders, so you don't get a high, but you also don't get the withdrawal. Traditionally, these agonists are administered once the original drug, say heroin or morphine, has left the system. The thing about fentanyl is it breaks down in the body a lot slower than naturally occurring opiates. So where withdrawal from heroin might last 24 hours, a withdrawal from fentanyl might last 72 hours.
Trying to treat fentanyl as if it is the same as any other opioid, is playing into the cycle of addiction.
Eve Sandler is the clinical director at Gallus Medical Detox, a facility that helps wean people off drugs. And she says the prolonged discomfort only worsens the fentanyl epidemic as it scares people away from help.
I think it prevents a lot of people from seeking treatment to begin with. Like, nobody wants to think that they're going to just suffer in a facility outside their comfort zone for days and days and not be appropriately treated. And so it makes it challenging to get people to seek help.
When you're still coming to, there's still the addict mind in you that says, I still want to go get high again.
Sean agrees. He's clean now and has started working for a treatment center himself, but knows how tempting it can be to use again to ease the pain.
A lot of times I left treatment because either the withdrawal got uncomfortable or I'd get through the physical withdrawal, but then I was still dealing with the mental aspect.
Doctors are still trying to find best practices to overcome this challenge, for they know the longer it persists, the fewer stories like Sean's will prevail.
Recovery is a beautiful thing. You know, today I have a beautiful fiance, I have a beautiful 4-year-old daughter that I get to be present in their lives, right? I get to love them, serve them, get outside of myself, which is a spiritual high in and of itself.
I'm Dan Grossman.
There's no place like home, and not long ago, buying one was less complicated. As recently as 2021, the market saw record low mortgage rates, thanks in part to the pandemic. In December of 2020, the mortgage rate dipped to a record low monthly average of 2.65% on a 30-year fixed mortgage. Demand drove inventory down and spiked home prices. The average price of a new home sat at $391,000 before eventually spiking to $453,700 in 2021. Realtors believe this gave Americans a chance to cash in on their home equity.
A typical homeowner in 2020, just by being a homeowner, they would have accumulated around $24,000 in housing wealth.
But things have changed. The rate on a 30-year fixed mortgage has shot up over the last 12 months, now hovering at about 7%. The nearly 4% increase in a year's time comes as the Federal Reserve hikes rates in an effort to tamp down inflation.
Even a 4% swing in interest rate could mean $300 to $400 more per month for a family.
It's an impact forcing potential first-time homebuyers to think twice.
I did have to start, lower my budget with the higher interest rate. I don't want to be stuck paying a crazy mortgage payment.
When rates first started climbing, it wasn't quite as drastic. But now the compounding where they're continuing to rise at that higher pace, we're seeing more and more people starting to drop back.
This year, the National Association of Realtors found first-time homebuyers made up just 26% of all homebuyers. That's down from 34% last year and down from 50% in 2010. And according to the NAR, first-time homebuyers are getting older, with the average age at 36 years old. And selling a home is now taking longer. In May, a house spent an average of 31 days on the market. By September, the average went up to 50 days. And it's costing more to claim the keys to the house. The median home price through October was at nearly $500,000, an increase of over $80,000 compared to a year before. Experts say that's due to low inventory. But despite challenges, some industry experts think there is hope for those who were shut out during the home buying rush.
With people pulling back, if you're still in the market, now you don't have the competition that you had, right? There are more and more price drops coming.
A welcome sign to those aiming to buy a home of their own.
Interest rates don't stay there, but your home will.
Lauren Magarino, Chicago.
Wells Fargo is being hit with another fine. The bank will pay close to $4 billion to settle a complaint about the way it handled mortgages and auto loans, as well as the way it charged overdraft fees. More than half of the money is supposed to go directly to the people affected. Wells Fargo has been dealing with multiple scandals for years. The bank said in a statement that it already accelerated changes to the workplace. CVS and Walgreens are putting limits on the amounts of children's pain reliever people can buy. Walgreens will cap you at 6 products. For CVS, the limit is 2. The companies say the limits are to make sure there is enough supply for everyone. Demand for brand names like Motrin and Tylenol have surged as outbreaks of flu and RSV ripple across the country. Justin Bieber just picked a fight with H&M. Monday, the pop star said on Instagram that H&M's Bieber-themed merchandise is, quote, trash. Bieber said he never approved any collaboration. H&M, a Sweden fast fashion brand, currently sells clothes featuring the singer's picture and lyrics. In a statement, company leaders say they followed proper approval procedures.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Fox 4 certified meteorologist Katie Walls. Heavy downpours overnight will be thinning out by your Wednesday morning. Right here at 7 a.m., couple of sprinkles expected to linger otherwise as we progress into the afternoon. Mix of clouds and sun forecast, along with a much drier scenario. So your Wednesday evening expected to be clear and calm. Heading into your Thursday, likewise, things start off pretty quietly. Could see a couple of downpours in the afternoon ahead of an approaching system, a system that will drive in big changes right in time for the weekend. Check this out. So we're going to be dealing with a few storms late Thursday into Friday. A cold front comes through. Behind that front, we're going to drop back those temperatures by more than 20 degrees. As of right now, Christmas afternoon, if we hit a high of 56 degrees, that would go down as the 3rd chilliest Christmas afternoon on record. By the way, notice those morning temperatures dropping into the upper 30s and lower 40s.
When you talk to farmers, especially here in the West, they will tell you that drought is a very real problem. But today we're at a farm here in Northern California that's working on growing what could be a solution. It is a crop that many farmers here haven't grown before. In fact, it's not really grown in the United States, but it is something that we already consume. For as easy as it can be to pass off rural places as disconnected from the day-to-day of big cities,
we grow everything. You know, we're the world food basket right here where you are.
Walk with Craig Reynolds.
We grow the tomatoes, the almonds, walnuts, everything.
And you'll understand how close the link is between our dinner tables and the fields that surround this farm.
Within 10 miles, you can just fill up your shopping basket.
How often is drought a topic of conversation when you talk to other farmers?
Oh, it's like the number one.
It is?
It's the number one issue. It's a huge, huge issue.
Drought's impact on the amount of food this region and other major farming communities produce nationwide is a direct threat to the livelihoods of those who grow these crops.
But if you see at the bottom of a plant, there's some small plant coming out of it right there.
Craig believes agave can be an answer. You might know the plants better in this form. The vast majority are grown in Mexico, where it's harvested to make tequila and mezcal. I learned those are terms that can only be used for spirits that come from certain regions of Mexico. What's grown here is known as agave spirits, and Craig believes it could be a new way for farmers to make money.
Agave seemed to me an ideal crop of low water use that would thrive in California with our increasing temperatures due to climate change.
Agave requires a fraction of the water that the traditional cash crops of this region, like almonds and olives, need to grow.
This right here was an olive orchard 6 months ago, and it was taken out because we don't have enough water for the olives, and we're putting in agave here.
For now, Craig makes only enough spirits for a small number of distilleries.
One of these can make 8 to 12 bottles.
But the question that he, other farmers, and those at the University of California, Davis, like Ron Runnebaum, are trying to answer is whether this crop can be grown on a large commercial scale in the U.S.
From my perspective, it is really the drought that is driving this and the interest of growers in being able to plant something that will use or could use very little water.
Ron told me it could be a decade until we know whether farmers can count on agave.
This is what we plant.
Since it takes at least 6 years for one plant to grow.
And there's some risk involved. We don't have a lot of experience with it here in terms of frost, and that's the biggest challenge, I think, is getting a winter hard frost in certain areas, and it's not going to work everywhere, that's for sure.
While Craig is hopeful inserting more American farmers into the agave business will bolster their bottom lines, it's hard to ignore how sobering it may be that farmers can't grow crops like they used to.
We can't just walk away from our fields. We got to find other crops. Agave is just one of them.
And how important it is that we start searching for ways to adapt. In Yolo County, California, I'm Chris Stewart reporting. It is the season of giving, and one teen story is showing just how big of an impact kindness can have. This is 14-year-old Jocelyn Green. She battled leukemia at Nationwide Children's Hospital, where she decided to give her wish from the Make-A-Wish Foundation away. The hospital provided us this video. Jocelyn put her wish toward new entertainment technology for others like streaming services and TVs.
I know that when kids like me go to the hospital, like they think they're going somewhere bad, but you know, when they go to the hospital and they get to watch their favorite movie or their favorite show, like they can have a little happiness in there somewhere.
Jocelyn's decision then sparked involvement from the community. Her high school, along with their rivals, came together to double Jocelyn's gift to the hospital.
To know that two schools that, you know, hate each other, so to speak, in the most kind way, rallied around and raised over $5,000 to add. It was just heartwarming, and everybody wore gold, and gold isn't a color, you know, for either team.
Child psychologists say acts like this can also have a lot of mental health benefits for kids. Things like improved self-esteem, confidence, and compassion. One of the best ways to get kids interested in giving back is making a connection with the things they like.
If they're really good at drawing and they like crafting, so let's make some cards, right, that we can put in the, you know, out to give to kids or to give to grandparents in a nursing home or whatever.
Other suggestions she shared are cooking a meal to donate and hands-on volunteer opportunities.